Hi, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. Now, there are a plethora of funds available in the market to invest your hard-earned money in. But how do you assess which is the right fund for your portfolio? What are the criteria that one should look at? To help you navigate through this maze, let's bring on board Abhijit Choksi, the founder at Stockify.in. Also, viewers, do not forget to send us your portfolio queries on our WhatsApp number 865-797-4571. Remember, you can also email us your queries on The Money Show at etnow.tv. But on that note, let's open the floor to all the viewer queries. And Abhijit, thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us on the show. And well, we're going to be opening the floor to the first query coming in. It's coming in from Mr. Jagdishwar. We have him on the phone line, and let's bring him on board then.
Hello.
Okay, let me elaborate his question then. And he wants to build an emergency corpus with a monthly investment of 1,000 to 1,500 rupees over a period of 10 years. He's asking you to suggest a mutual fund scheme for meeting the goal. What would your answer to that be?
Right. So we consider emergency fund and insurance as a bedrock of any financial planning. Generally, the thumb rule for emergency fund is your monthly expenses multiplied by 12 or at least 18. So in Mr. Jagvinder's case, I would suggest him to divide 50% in a debt fund and rest 50% he can invest in a index fund or a Parag Parik flexi fund. So that would be more on a safer side where his capital is not at risk and is basically a lot of drawdowns. It's safe from a lot of drawdowns. So I would suggest him to park that emergency fund in a very safe assets. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Jagdishwar, so that was the reply coming in on your query. We'll let you take over. And do you have any more questions for our guest today?
Can you suggest the name of the fund, please?
Yeah, so the name which I suggested is Parag Parik Flexi Cap, and the other is ICICI Blue Chip. So the blue chip funds are almost as good as index funds. So you can divide your SIP in these two funds for the emergency fund purposes.
Okay, so on that note, Mr. Jagdishwar, thank you so much for joining in. And Abhijit, the second query coming for you today is from our viewer Prajwal, and this is an email query coming in, so I'm going to read it out for you. He's investing 70,000 rupees in mutual funds. You have the breakdown with you. He's asked to advise if there are any changes to be done. Just going to read out the name of the schemes. Parik Flexi Cap is one of them, HDFC Flexi Cap, Nippon India Growth Fund, HDFC MIDC Mid Cap Opportunities, pardon me, SBI Small Cap, Nippon India Small Cap, and ICICI Prudential Large Cap as well. So could you suggest any changes to his portfolio, or does everything look good right now?
Right. So this is a general observation I have made is that most people end up choosing, more than 5, 7, 10 mutual funds. Uh, However, in the case of mutual funds, I suggest to stick to at least maximum 4 to 5 mutual funds. So in case of Prajwal, I would advise him to club his small. For example, if he has 3 small cap funds, right? So it would be better for him to track these funds, so he can just club, like for example, SBI and Nippon. He's holding in small cap category, so he can club those two and invest in one fund. So he can reduce the number of funds in his portfolio to at least 4 to 5 max. One suggestion I would give him is to add a blue chip fund because the exposure to large cap looks relatively lesser in his fund selection. Other than that, his fund selection is pretty up to the mark.
Okay, so Mr. Prajwal, I hope that answers your query. And Abhijit, our last query for the day is coming in from our viewer Rajib Datta, and he's given the split of his portfolio depending on the type of scheme that he's invested in. He's asked you to review his portfolio. It's for 5 funds, and the monthly investment is 15,000 rupees for a time frame of 10 years. For large cap, he's taken ICICI Prudential Blue Chip Fund. For mid cap, Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund. Multi-cap scheme is Nippon India Multi-Cap Fund, and for small cap there are 2 schemes, the Bandhan Small Cap Fund as well as Quant Small Cap Fund, with obviously different distributions over this 15,000 rupees. Time period once again of 10 years. So would you review his portfolio and tell us what changes could he make?
Yeah, again, in case of Mr. Rajiv, I would suggest him to consolidate his small cap into a single fund. And other than that, his fund selection is very well diversified. and he can continue with his large and mid cap and multi cap funds. Only in small cap, if he just is able to consolidate, then it will make a very balanced portfolio. Thank you.
Well, so Mr. Rajib, I hope that answers your query. And Abhijit, thanks so much for joining us on the show, quickly taking us through what you think is best for our viewers. But on that note, viewers, as we come to a wrap of this edition of The Money Show, I would once again like to remind you to keep writing to us. We'll keep taking more and more queries as and when we can over the course of the week, and we'll be sharing your doubts with our experts and bring on a whole board of experts to in fact answer your queries. We'll be once again reflecting the number and the email on which you can write us your queries. But on that note, there you have it, 865-797-4571 or the Money Show at etnow.tv, two ways where you can reach us with your queries. But on that note, viewers, it's a wrap on this edition of The Money Show from me, Snehisha, and the team that put this show together. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.